May I introduce myself? My name is Pham Khanh Toan. I'm Director General of the International Cooperation Department of the Ministry of Construction in Vietnam. And now I would like to present my paper on circular economy in view of local architecture with lifestyle, case study from the north of Vietnam. So my specific topic today is focusing on the construction and with a new concept in the circular economy. So can you move to the second slide? So as the urbanization continues to proceed at a high speed worldwide, the construction activities are carried out in every corner of the economy, changing the spatial patterns of urban and rural areas, thus inevitably exerting impacts to the natural settings. The consequences are depletion of natural resources, overburdens on natural carrying capacity through greenhouse gas emission, pollution on air, soil, and water, imbalance of the biosystem, lower quality of life of the people. So the circular economy is emerging as a rational response to the issues I have listed above. When it tries to establish a closed loop of material life cycle with utmost little or none waste, efficient use of energy resources, thus reduces burdens to the natural environment. In the construction sector, buildings with a long lifespan consume huge amount of material, energy, and manpower, affect profoundly the health and well-being of the people. The principles of the circular economy, when applied here, will contribute to a better living, working, and social environment within the built environment. The circular economy, you can see on the slide, in the construction sector, specifically in the building construction, is understood as the loop of the life cycle of a building, which consists of rationalized phases that utilize the most availability of the local natural advantages, ensure the minimal impacts to the natural environment, while providing the best services to people and enrich the local cultural values. So you can see the diagram. There are the phases of this circular manufacturing of building materials. Second is the design. Third is the construction. Fourth, operation and use. Fifth, renovations. And sixth, demolition. So in the first phase, building materials should be locally available to reduce the transport costs, should be environmentally friendly to leave the least environmental footprint, easy to process, to save labor and machinery costs, not toxic to the health of people, but meeting standard requirement in strength, durability, and aesthetics. In the phase 2, the designer makes the layout of the building, which is convenient in use in terms of the size and composition of functions, but ensures the natural ventilation and lighting, makes sure that the building is warm in the winter and cool in the summer. That is, protected from the sun in the summer with a veranda, shutters, and walls, and from cold wind in the winter in the direction of the rooms. In phase 3, appropriate construction technology should be applied, which is suited to the local and site conditions. It is encouraged that the local community labor and handicraft should be mobilized to lower the cost. In phase 4, the building should be fit for multiple and flexible use purposes in order to fully utilize the works for the benefit of the owner and the public. It enables easy management for operation and contributes to enhancing the cultural values of the community. In phase 5, it should be easy to carry out and low maintenance. And that is a cleaning, small repair, replacement, and painting by the local services. In phase 6, once the building has come to the end of its life cycle, is be reused for other purposes as the input materials for other works. The site then should be restored and ready for other construction works. So each phase should be carried out in the most rational way in meeting its purpose and as to reduce waste discharge, energy consumption, cost of materials and labor, and to provide best functions for the users. So practical examples of the 3 buildings or groups of buildings, I would like to illustrate the circular economy in the construction sector in action in Vietnam, or in other words, how those buildings meet the functional uses by applying principles of the circular economy as presented above in the local circumstances in Vietnam. So please go to the next slides. All the designs were made by architect Hoàng Thúc Hào, the current Vice President of Vietnam Institute of Architects in the terms 2020 to 2025. So the first building of him, that is the Lũng Luông Primary School in Thái Nguyên Province. It's called the Flowers of the Forest. The school is located within the vast mountainous area of the north of Vietnam. The group of colorful buildings is arranged in harmony with the nature, looking like swinging kites in the sky, flared skirts of minority girls, or flowers. The buildings are arranged in a way that they are ventilated by cool winds in the summer and convenient in multifunctional uses. Local materials like bricks is produced on the site with compressors, bamboo for ceilings, and local people help to construct the buildings. Raining water is collected for reuse and natural drainage is applied. And you see the structure is very simple with steel frame system and 3-layer corrugated iron roof and clay bricks. But the layout is very diversified and very playful. So go to the next slide, please. The second work of him is a jackfruit village, a homestay village in the outskirts of Hanoi. The group of buildings is in hiding under jackfruit and grapefruit and other trees in the peninsular type of land, surrounded by a big pond. Local materials like bamboo, unburned bricks are used. The sloping terrain is utilized for drainage, and the waterfront allow the building to catch cool breeze in the summer. You can see diversified functions for different use, like a restaurant, swimming pool, meditation house, homestay, and host family. and it looking to the pond for every building to catch the cool breeze in the summer, and very nice and really curving form of the roof and of the layout. So next slide, please. The third work of him is a Bát Tràng Ceramic Village Museum in Hanoi. The idea is to revitalize the once famous. Above is the dock, below it's the boats, are the boats. That is the same in the past for this very bustling trade in this Bát Tràng village, for trading ceramic pots and jars. The museum takes the concept of the knitting pot with its still uneven raw round shape. The building is meant for many purposes. The ground floor for public activities, that is weekly markets, cultural performances, public gatherings, and so on. And the above 3 stories are for displaying the history of the village and its ceramic products over time. The building as a whole would help vitalize the ceramic production in the village and enhance the cultural value of the local area, attracting more and more local and international tourists to visit the village. Really, the shape, you can see curving shape and very uneven, because the knitting pots, you see why in the process of working, it's not even, not quite round. And the author deliberately leave the raw shape of the building, really like the pot under production. And the ground floor, you can see here on the image of a music band can play, or the weekly markets can gather in this space, and the rooms above are for display. So the final slide, please. So the get matrix for action. So the next slide, please. The concept of the circular economy in the construction sector and the 3 examples would help to draw important implications for the different management and actor levels in Vietnam. So you can see the GATT matrix diagram here with its 3 dimensions: governance, education, and technology is rooted in all levels of the government, global level, national level, and local level, and in all types of actors: government, public, business, industry, and NGO, civil society. The most important role is of the government. It plays an enabling role in setting up the legal framework, starting from environmental commitments to the law and regulations down to standards and guidelines in our processes related to construction, including governance, education, and technologies. So here I would mean the government is the enabler with its policy framework to set up the playground for all the actors and for all the levels, for in the governance itself, in the education, and in the technology. Not less important is the role of business and industry, who help provide efficient governance, good education for schools and the public, appropriate technologies for the construction sector. The business are initiator of many new innovation works, and playing a role for disseminate for public, for the education of schools in the public, particularly their invention in the appropriate technologies. with local materials. And finally, equally important is the role of NGO and civil society who are close to the community and can support effectively the local awareness raising, capacity building, mobilization of community participation, preservation of cultural values, and dissemination of best practices. So the role of NGO basically is close to the community. It's connector between community and the business and even to the government. So the NGO and civil society have a bright and very wide relationship to influence awareness, public education, and dissemination of best practices. So with this slide, I would end my presentation showing that if you are available, please come to Vietnam and you can witness with your own eyes in these buildings for local knowledge and local cultural values. Thank you very much.